What's up, y'all? Hope you're doing well. We're here for our weekly romance oracle and tarot message. Just taking a look at the week ahead to see what's going on in our love lives. Where should we put our energy and focus? Let's see what this is. New love. Okay. We keep having signs and indications and cards that new love is on the way. Now, whether or not this means that there is a specific new love partner on the way, I know. Don't you hate it when the universe is just like, just love yourself. Just, it's just about love. But there's this feeling of a renewal of just general feelings of lovey-doveyness for life coming back, excitement about the things that are lying ahead just around the corner that we can't see, that we don't know about yet, like just this excited eagerness and anticipation and hopefulness again. And the more that we can urge that feeling on and encourage that feeling and feed the fire of those feelings, the more magnetic we will be in drawing in specific romantic love and romantic partners. When we're in the vibration of feeling light and love and feeling really grounded and peaceful and solid, then it just makes people want to be around us, right? At my job, I'm a server, and so there's a whole brigade of us, and we all have our different energies, and there's just some people that I work with that are so calming to be around and just to listen to them talk about whatever, but they're happy, they're doing their thing, and they have a good, strong sense of presence, right? And that in and of itself makes them so magnetic. They don't have to be doing anything special. They don't have to be drawing any attention to themselves. It's just their energy. So I really feel like the foundation of what's going to be attracting this new love in, whether or not you're in a relationship already and you have this new surge of feeling and commitment and devotion, or whether you are single and there's a new person that's coming into your life. It's this volume is getting turned up. And the more that we can feel giddy and joyous and yet still keep that grounded sense of consistency, stability, following through, keeping our shit together, because part of what I notice about these particular people that I'm thinking of is that I feel like they have a certain level of stableness about them. They're grounded, they're happy, they're joyous, they're at peace. They don't have these highs and lows. They're not erratic. They're not all over the place. And I feel like outside of work, their shit's taken care of. They have a cute place. It's not a mess. They've got order. It's orderly. There's something peaceful about it. Everything that they do just kind of emanates more peace and more of their vibe without being forceful, without pushing it on anyone or putting it in your face. It's not anything too extra. It's just having that groundedness within yourself and within your own home and within your own structure, within your own kingdom, right? Just having things in order. And I think that it's going to start there, but also having this feeling of hey, anything could happen, showing up and having a little spark in your eye and, having a little joke that nobody else is in on kind of thing. You know someone that knows something that everybody doesn't know. You got something up your sleeve. You just got a little bit of joie de vivre back in your step. All right, what do we have here? This one's popping out. Ooh, attraction. This is literally me in my garden right now with all my roses in bloom. I'm obsessed. I'm so excited. But yeah, even that, just getting really into, just intoxicated on the simplicity and the beauty of life. and those simple sensualities. If we can get into our physical body and appreciate the smell of the fresh spring blossoms, fresh cut grass, the air of like a spring rain in the afternoon, like all of those smells, like sounds, what sounds make, like the sound of rain. Oh, love that. Feelings and sights and really entice your senses. Get all of your attraction going, right? Get your engines going. And a lot of that doesn't have to be sexually oriented. So many things we can do to start feeling physical that don't have anything to do with sex. We can take such pleasure and joy in really good food, right? My friend tonight at work, he was talking about how disappointed he was last night because he didn't have the energy to cook a meal. And he was like, I just ended up eating chicken fingers, like chicken fingers. They were grilled, but still, it was like he was so like disappointed that it wasn't something delicious. It's like enjoy the little things, really soak the marrow out of the little things. But I think it's when we get into that feeling and tasting and sensing parts of our being that it starts drawing in more and more and more of the same similar vibrations. So you attract romantic love by enjoying this moment fully. So this moment fully, being in this moment fully. Remember what I was saying about the people at work that were peaceful and like their vibe was just very attractive. They are, I pointed out their presence, right? They're present in the situation. Their nervous systems are regulated. They're not one foot out the door thinking about something else, frantic. They're not in a hurry. They're just present. They're very effective because they're not making mistakes. They're not losing bits of information because they're ungrounded or not paying attention. They're very present. When you can be with another person, and part of so the counting of the Omer is going on. We're in the midst of it. We're in week 4 of 7. And so this week has to do with the Sferot of Netzach. And so we've been talking about it all week. And this is very Venus oriented, very beauty and sensuality oriented, excitement about life, how we relate to ourselves, our lives, and others, right? So when we are super truly present with someone, we make such an impact. Sometimes it's not even that we need to be saying or doing anything, but just being very present with someone, listening with open, patient ears and heart, and really witnessing them honestly and truthfully and fully, like that goes so far. Or even just being in a short back and forth with someone that maybe you don't know that well, but you really engage and you pay attention and you're very present and you're not elsewhere and you're not waiting for to say the next thing. You're just really listening and you're allowing them to express themselves. And then maybe you say something back that answers them that's like, oh, you answer them in such a way that you acknowledge what they've said, that you've taken it in and you've taken a moment to try to really put yourself in their shoes or really pay attention to where they're coming from. And you acknowledge that with your response, right? It just makes such a difference when you're really present. I remember once getting together with this guy who I had been so wild about. And I was starting to get out of the attraction, like the spell was beginning to break, the clouds were beginning to break, and I was starting to see the cracks. And upon later, like when I was totally sober from this thing, I realized that this guy was like a flaming narcissist, and he was just bouncing in and out, taking on like the high of my attention, right? But I remember when I was still thinking, like I remember going to this meeting to meet up with him. We were going to go have drinks. I was so excited that we were going to be hanging out. And I remember on the way there, I was like, you know what? I need to ground myself. And I just need to be really, real, and like, what is it really like when I'm gonna go hang out with him this time? What's he gonna be like? Like, don't get excited, try to sober up and not give him more than he's earned, right? And don't give him the benefit of the doubt necessarily. Let's see, what he's really all about. So that was one of the first times that I was able to not just be completely enamored of this dude while we were hanging out. And I was sitting there, and it had been a while since we've hung out, and he'd already like kind of pissed me off a few times. So it wasn't like, it's like the bloom was off the rose, so to speak. And we were sitting there, and he was a little bit distracted. And then like, I don't know, he was just like checking his like social media notifications on his phone. And I'm like, you're with a human being, like you're on a date. Like, why are you so desperate to see like who's looking at your social media, who's commenting on your social media? And I remember that at that moment, I was like, oh, I'm genuinely turned off right now. Like, I've lost my attraction for him. I think I'm over this. And like, it was so funny, just the way that I perceived him in that moment of being so ungrounded, so distracted, so like not there. He was so unpresent. And I was just like, this is a load of garbage. Like, I'm done. I think I like kind of like quickly finished my drink, and I was like, all right, bye. Like, I didn't stick around. And then after that, I was just like kind of over the whole thing. But I think presence goes so far and does so much. All right. Let's see, this one's sticking up. Ooh, calling in your soulmate. This one's been haunting us recently. It's like our little stalker card. Your prayers, affirmations, and visualizations help bring you together. So I feel like the last few weeks in a row I've had this card. So just keep at it. Keep doing your inner work. Keep saying your prayers. Keep thanking God for bringing this person into your life exactly when the moment is right, and not a moment before, but when everything is perfectly aligned for the best opportunity. Thank God for showing you what you need to transform or heal or awaken within yourself, or maybe accomplish or get finished, or maybe there's something you need to do first before you can be blessed with like settling into this relationship, right? Because maybe there's something important that God needs you to do that you wouldn't do if you were all of a sudden distracted with a new love, right? So ask God, what is it that you need from me so that I can merit having this soulmate come into my life? Is it something in me that needs to change? Is it something that I need to let go of or forgive? Is there an assignment that you have, or something that I need to do or accomplish for you before I can go have a good time? Like what exactly is the thing that you are wanting from me so that I can call this person in? You're also dealing with another person's timing and issues and factors. So you could be like, am I all right? Am I just circling the runway until this person can land? Like, what is going on here? Well, what's the story, God? What's the holdup? Let's get some information here. What's the weather? Tell me, which direction is the wind coming in from? My old production manager on the show, he must have had some horrible like incident happen regarding the weather, because he would come in like a ton of bricks like on fire, and he'd be like, what's the weather? Somebody get on the phone with the meteorologist. And it wasn't enough to give him like the basic like stats, like temperature, chance of rain. He was like, I want to know what the wind speed is right now. We did have big things built, that are very fragile and could be dangerous in a windy situation. So I get it, but it was just so funny. He'd always come in and be like, what's the weather? And that's what we're asking God right now. It's like, what's the weather? Is it the chance of soulmate? Express your love. Ooh, okay. So go ahead and make the romantic gesture. So if you have a hottie patati in your life, a little cutie patootie that you're into, don't play too hard to get. don't play too cool for school, because what if you build this whole thing on just playing games, just playing hard to get, and then when you finally are like, when they turn around and you're like, all right, I'm here, it's like, it's such a shock because it's been this whole dynamic and this whole charade, right? So you don't want to have to like do something that you can't keep up with, right? Not, you know, so much so that you have to like keep it going. Little bits of everything, little moderation is best. So I think that without being too forward or broad or overly sexualized, you can indicate that you're attracted to someone, right? I mean, that is not too much to put out there, I don't think. That you find someone attractive or that you find someone like charming, or, you know, you can laugh at their jokes. Like, people like to feel good and they are excited when the person they're attracted to is attracted to them. And sometimes when someone is like showing you that you know, they're fanning out on you, you're like, oh wow, that's so nice. Like, I've got, you know, maybe this person's kind of attracted too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to be like, ew, gross, get away. Now, sometimes a little bit of that, like in a playful way, adds tension. Obviously, you don't want to always be in one mode. But I think that the danger of playing too hot and cold, too hard to get, is that you become too aloof and you don't really create a bond, and you don't really like, it's not really fun. It's just tension, or it's too much distance, right? You want to think of being in the Goldilocks zone. You know, you want to come in a little bit of sweet cuteness, a little bit of like enticing, all right, a little distance. You know, there's rhythm to it. But I think that to hide your attraction for someone, like, oh my God, I don't want them to know that I have a crush on them, like it's going to be the end of the world, that's only working against you. So I think in little ways that you can let the information leak out into the public, maybe is a good thing. All right, subtle hints. Oopsie, I didn't mean for you to hear me say that about how hot you were, kind of thing, you know, like, oh, I didn't know you were in earshot of me when I was telling someone else what I thought, you know, of what you were wearing. Oh my gosh, look. So the first card that was just flipped over in the midst of the deck, it's the Sun card. I believe we had this last week. This is Shine. I'm going to actually put this card with the Express Your Love card because we were literally just saying this. It's like, let your light shine bright. Be your charming self. Be fun. Be spirited. Be warm. Be saucy, be sassy, be all the things, be all the variety of things that you are. And just don't pretend to be something that you're not. And don't try to be too extra. Just be yourself. Be unaffected and be truly just like in your own vibe, in your own world. You know, not putting on a show, not doing something because of others. Like what you want to achieve here, like to me, what this says, the Sun card, like let your light shine. This is be your uninhibited self without being self-conscious, without being insecure, without being extra, without being like I don't know, like over the top, right? You can just be you and not hold back and not worry about who's looking or not looking. You're just being yourself and you're not filtering, right? I mean, a little bit of filtering might be good. I mean, I have never been in a corporate environment and I wouldn't survive there, not for one day, because I don't know how to behave myself and I have no filter. But, you know, I think that just watching people sometimes, it's like I can see some people hold back because they're insecure or they're afraid of what people will think. And so then that's not very attractive because then they're uptight and they're closed down and they're wallflowers. But then there are people that get so gregarious and so over the top, or they're trying so hard to lay it on thick with the sexual innuendo that you're like almost like turned off by that too. So I think it's just being natural. And, you're not trying to be so smooth, so charismatic. It's like, you can be a little nerdy, you can be a little this, a little that. It's like, you don't care. You have no agenda. You're not trying to impress anybody. You're just being you, right? All right. So, new love. Let's get some more insight on new love. Control. So 8 of Swords and refusing to see. So we have 2 of Swords and 8 of Swords. So refusing to see is like you've got kind of a mental block in a situation. 2 of Swords is like you have 2 equal and opposing forces like going into a stalemate. And so a good example of this might be an inner conflicting desire where you want a relationship, but you're afraid to put yourself out there and be vulnerable and start building intimacy because of the fact that you could be hurt, right? It's usually not those quick little like few weeks of dating someone that are the worst. It's usually when we start liking someone after a couple of months and, we start really letting them in and then it doesn't work out. And then you're like, oh, that kind of hurt because you're starting to think about, it could become something, and it never gets to run its course where you're like sick of that person too, right? So there could be this inner conflicting desire where you want a relationship, you want intimacy, but you're afraid to expose yourself to rejection. And so your subconscious sort of like makes sure that you're sort of safe by never being attracted to someone who's available or just not, avoiding romance altogether. Or you don't see when someone likes you, you automatically dismiss it and you assume that that's not the case. Or you don't see that they're hoping that you like them. You know what I mean? So there could be something in this new situation where you, there's possibility of a new love, but there's something about the situation that you're refusing to admit, you're refusing to acknowledge, or you're refusing to see. Is this thing sending you into an old pattern and that's what you're refusing to see and then it's preventing you from actually meeting new love? Because we also have the 8 of Swords card here as well, control. And so the 8 of Swords card is like feeling like you're trapped. Like you have nowhere to turn or you don't have a choice in something because you are frozen in fear. And fear is giving you all the false evidence appearing real. It's like fear is like giving you all these illusions and making you feel trapped, like you don't have another choice or you don't have any options or there's no way. But really, it's like it's just an illusion. So there might be something that you are like a solution that you're refusing to see and you feel trapped, or there may be something that you're telling yourself that you're like, well, it's just, this is how it is and there's no other way and this is the only choice I have. Or are you refusing to see how this card can sometimes ask you to look at the ways that you're trying to control your situation? So it might be very quiet, subtle, sneaky ways that you're not even quite aware of until you really slow down and examine yourself. Are you trying to control your situation? Are you trying to control the attraction? Are you trying to control the other person? Are you very subtly manipulating the situation and you don't even realize it? Or are you doing it on purpose and do you realize it, So how can you let go of your control issues and look to see, is there something about this situation that I'm refusing to see? Is there somehow a way that I'm lying to myself or that I am avoiding the big, elephant in the room that's keeping me held back, that I should make a move or that I should put myself out there more? Or maybe is it that you are getting yourself caught up with the wrong types and you're not available for new love to come in? Because it feels like we might have some option or options soon. And so we want to be really free and available for those options. We don't want to lock ourselves into projections that aren't substantial. Okay, attraction. So our card listening came up. This is the High Priestess. So again, if we can sit and have some time to be in meditation and to sit in quiet and to do self-care, the High Priestess is all about receiving. She is the divine feminine receiver of inspiration, of the Holy Spirit's provision, direction, guidance, protection. But she, the High Priestess, can tune into her intuition and listen to the guidance. We have attraction here. So to me, I feel like one thing that will boost our attraction is to not make an effort to go out and chase, or do, or prove yourself, or try to get a bunch of attention, but rather be in your own beautiful, happy, magical world, being just in love with the smelling of the roses and the things that you're doing, being in love with yourself and your own life. And that's going to get you into this divine feminine state of calling in, of pulling in, of magnetism, of receiving. So much the better if you can practice some meditation and some exercises like meditation. I was thinking the other day, I was like, man, I am craving just sitting down in like meditations and like multiple meditations a day. Like I want so many right now. I haven't had enough days off recently, and I'm craving that quiet, empty spaciousness so much. So I think that is going to add to our attraction. Turn down the kinetic, frantic energy and slow down and get still and quiet and get that peacefulness radiating. And then it's like everyone's just going to be like moth to a flame. And our last card, calling in your soulmate. What do we have giving us more clarity? The Eight of Pentacles, a dedicated effort. So this is, dedication to our relationship skills and the inner work on ourselves so that we have the best opportunity and the best chances of being the best partner for another person, but also to be able to recognize who is going to make the best partner. And so then we can choose the best partner for ourselves. And if you're in a relationship, even the best relationships with the best soulmate on earth is going to take work. And it's not always going to be easy, and it's not always going to be desirable, and everyone's not going to be in their best, at their best self all the time. And, people in long-term relationships, they go through seasons of, going through trials sometimes. And it's not always that you are going through the same trial with your partner. Sometimes your partner's going through something and you have to have patience with them through it. But then you also have to know how to inspire them to get out of their funk sometimes too. So it's a delicate balance. And so all of these things in a relationship take skill. And they take work on ourselves, and they take work to understand how to bring your best self to the partnership. And it doesn't come without trying. It doesn't come without study. It doesn't come without reading. There's so many books out there. It's like, how do you, get the love you want? What are your love languages, attachment styles? Like, how do you communicate, to someone without blaming them or projecting, or manipulating? There's just so much to learn about relationships. And just think, like a couple of decades ago, nobody knew anything about relationships. They were just locking in and we're like, well, we're just going to be miserable for the next 60 years. We're going to get through it. And now it's like people are starting to learn more about the art of relationship. And so they're building the skills, and this is a dedicated effort. It's a dedicated effort to maintain that relationship with yourself. It's a dedicated effort to maintain that relationship with God, with the Holy Spirit, with your higher power, and that maintaining that relationship with another. What is that noise? Oh, it's my flickering wick. I was like, is it raining outside? Is the house on fire in somewhere? It's just like it's my flicking wick. But yeah, dedicated effort, whether it is to the self, to the spirit of the self within, to your higher power, or to another, it's always going to take an effort. So I think too, the more that we put into the self-work and the self-love, and the more we invest into the self, we have more to share and more to give and more to offer. And the best thing to do when we're trying to call in our soulmate is say, okay, am I the soulmate that I want to be, or am I being the soulmate that I want to have for myself? Because we either resonate with things or we don't. And so in order to call in the soulmate of the frequency of our true frequency, we have to be resonating in our true frequency. So are you the partner that you want for yourself? You know, think about the qualities and the aspects that you want in another person. Do you exhibit those things? Are you able to be that person that you expect for yourself? You know, what are the things that you could work on that would make you an annoying roommate? Or, that would be a liability in an adult relationship? What are the things that make you hard to get along with, or where do you know that you're selfish and you're like, oh, it's gonna be a hard one to let someone into my space, right? Because it's like, for some of us, once you get a routine and you're comfortable in your own space and you're comfortable being alone, then you're like, oh man, I haven't had to deal with anyone snoring in a few years. I've been sleeping through the night. And so just small things like that, you're like, wow, bringing someone into my life, it might mean that, I don't ever sleep good anymore, depending on what they have going on, So yeah, you gotta prepare yourself to let someone back into your life. Gross but true. I have not had to deal with anybody else's farts in years. And the other day, I walked through someone else's fart, and I was like, I have been defiled. I haven't had to deal with another person's fart in quite some time. It was shocking. I was like, ugh, get me to the mikvah. I need to cleanse. So yeah, it takes a dedicated effort. It takes a dedicated effort to let someone in when you've had the comfort of being solo. All right. I think that is all for tonight. I will see you guys again tomorrow for our weekend reflection message. I'm so excited. Tomorrow is my only day off this week. I've been working 6 days a week for the last few weeks. It's our busy season, so I'm trying to take advantage before we get into our summer lull, but I'm 2 shades from the killer right now. Everyone stay away. I almost made plans tomorrow to go out with a friend, and I was like, you know what? On second thought, I was like, I'm almost insane. I need to just isolate. I need to be in high priestess mode and sit and listen and find some void open space. And I hope that y'all can do the same. All right. I'll see you tomorrow. Ciao.